Hello and good evening for this Wednesday, March 6th, 2024. We have just finished watching the second episode of Survivor 46 titled Scorpio Energy here on the Super Mater Brothers podcast. I'm Dave Mater, joined with a great panel once again to break down this episode, talk all about it. It was another 2-hour episode. Who can believe it? First up, we got the great Jaemeel Robinson with us tonight. How are you doing it, Jaemeel?
Hello, we'll talk.
We'll talk about all this. We got Bananas Foster here, Josh Foster himself. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Oh, better after Jameel's comment.
Good. Well, we're all cheering each other up here to talk yet about another episode of Survivor 46. A 2-hour episode, guys, as this Yanu tribe goes once again to tribal. Spoiler alert, if you didn't know, we will be talking all about this episode. 2 hours, guys. It was like a movie, another movie, because this wasn't even a premiere.
Are they are they slowly working us into a 2-hour every episode kind of thing? Like, what's going on here? Like, they just introduced an hour and a half last season. Like, this is not fair.
I don't. Yeah, I'm still pondering that myself. Quite frankly, I'm still trying to understand.
The good news is next episode is only an hour and a half.
Oh my God! Well, until the pre-merge, the merge, the after the merge, and then we go from there.
Right. This is, of course, a live stream here on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch. You can hit us up with questions, your thoughts, and reactions to this episode. Of course, we have the great Sam Hinkton with us here for live. And yes, Big Brother Canada is going on, but this is not the Big Brother Canada podcast. But we are following that season, not in podcast form here on the network this season. It's a lot, guys. Hunter reminds get Dave vibes from Hunter. Well, interesting. And Insulin people, they love us here on the channel. Green Hearts, of course, all around.
Okay.
Yes. Anyway, guys, okay, your reaction to this episode. Jaemeel, do you like a 2-hour episode of Survivor?
That isn't top of mind, actually. So if I can have the floor for a second.
You may, but yes. I would like to come back around to an answer if
okay. I haven't had that much luck in terms of the draft as of late, and for the most part, I've shown a lot of grace in my defeat. I've had people who have been removed from the game after seemingly the first episode due to drug dependency out of the blue coming along here. So now I have, as Dave mentioned before, spoilers, Jess is no longer part of this game. I would like to say and make a statement saying, I hope that no one from Yanu wins this game. I hope they get pagonged. This entire tribe, I wish nothing but bad things for the rest of the game for these individuals at all. They are a victim of their own situation, right? It is not Jess's fault that they lost. They lost because they were not good enough, right? They're putting all the blame on Jess when I see Kenzie doing the moving just as quickly, even slower than Jess, right? So yeah. I have yet to see a reason as to why Jess needs to be voted out outside that Kenzie is in good graces with people. And that's fine. People can do that. But they're acting like Jess is this complete buffoon, right? Kenzie didn't find an idol at all, right? The only thing that she's shown that she's good at is that she's able to work well with people. That's it. That is all. She has not contributed a damn thing to this, but yet we are given the impression, and she's somewhat has it in her mind, that she is doing this great and elaborate thing. I was rewatching the channel. She was doing jack in this, right? She is on Jack. Your girl's on Yanu. If it is Kenzie, Sam, sorry, bad taste. That is a bad thing on you. Shame on you, Sam. Right? Shame on you. I hope she gets voted out next. She's terrible, right? She has done nothing. I hope she gets voted out completely. I hope she gets embarrassed first and then voted out. That's how much I wish upon you, Sam. Sam, I like you. You're a good person, but still, too bad. You've made your choice, a bad one at that. I'll talk more about this as this episode goes on, because I got a lot more to say.
Okay, well, we'll get
part of Jaemeel over here in the top right corner. Oh, geez, folks.
Yeah, we're gonna get all to that. Yeah, Foster, I wanted to know what your reaction to Jameel's statement was off the top.
Well, first of all, I can't compete with that fire. That was some passion in that speech. That was well done, Jaemeel.
Did it ring true? Did his comments ring true to you? Do you feel that his condemnation of this Yanu tribe is deserved?
I think yes and no. I think that I don't think that the blame should have been put all solely on Jess. I think that with Kenzie, she hasn't done anything in the sense that like she was around everything. She's been around everything, right? But like because she wasn't like she didn't get the idol, but it was Tiffany. Tiffany, yep. And then Q gave Jess the fake idol, right? So, but I think that I don't think Kenzie's the problem either. I think just as a tribe in general, they're just very dysfunctional, right? They're
victim of their own design. They are a victim.
They're not. They don't have a string of 3 people on the same level. Like even like you thought for a second there that it was going to be Kenzie, Tiffany, and Q running the show. And then Q, in this episode is like, oh, I'm going to run with, Jess or pretend to run with Jess and Banu and see if we can, if I can get the votes that way. Right. So it's like, there's not enough. Like, it's a 6-person alliance. If you don't even have 3 people on the same page, you're not going to be successful at all. Right. Like, and that's just going to go throughout the challenges. So like, they're going to get decimated again next week. And like, unfortunately, that's just a matter of just it's either a combination of personalities not matching up, backgrounds, or in general, just how they're playing the game. So it's just it's I don't think it's the producer's fault because there's always one team. It seems like at least the last 2 seasons now, if you want to be recent. But at the same time, they're not going to win if they continue to not be on the same page.
Yeah. Well, okay. I think my big takeaway from this episode was that not this Yanu tribe, but I think maybe this cast more in general is a really kind of wacky bunch here we're dealing with this season. I think we're in store for some interesting hijinks. I think that this is potentially going to be a bit of not a pagonging but a gong show outright, and I think that this is only the example, but even just the way they're editing it and presenting it to us is sort of like that. People are getting their feet run over by carts. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of people hit their head in the clouds.
Okay, If she's really hurting, she should have seen a medic. We should have seen a medic come out. Right? She's just being dramatic, in my opinion.
Dave, be glad that Venus wasn't on Yanu because she'd be where Jess is.
Venus is a prize in this game, everybody. She is the first overall pick in our draft. She is still in this game, unlike Jess, and she actually lives in Canada. So she's a Canadian sweetheart. We're all cheering for her here in Canada.
So are you telling me you wouldn't be cheering on Daryl then?
No, I'm just
saying you're throwing it out there. I'm just saying, would you be cheering for Daryl?
No, I'm throwing it out there just to hype up Venus. But
okay.
I'll be real about it. But it's Venus. She's on the outs on her Yami tribe. Is that right? Yami or Yani? The orange tribe. Nami. Sorry, Nami. I should know that. Nami, where she's not quite fitting in. She's not, particularly with Devin. We see in this episode that they have a relationship. However, Nami still wins this challenge today, and so they haven't had to go to tribal council. But if they did, you would imagine that Venus is on the bottom of this orange tribe. Foster, any thoughts on the orange, maybe the orange tribe overall, and how they were presented in this episode?
Yeah, like I don't. Well, first of all, we'll get to the challenge, but I just want to say that I have a real kind of issue with the way that I guess I don't know where for Will Cox is the last. With Laura, Jess, what's the first name? Liz. The way that she presents herself and the way that she goes out of her way to talk about her successes and her business, like it's very, it rubs me the wrong way, and it's not a good reflection of you as a person, because that's not something that, like, you're basically saying that's like all you're about, that's all you care about, and you're kind of shoving it, like it's just it's very over the top, and it's very it's very I don't know, it's very uneasy.
Like there are some big personalities in this Orange Tribe between Tevin, and there's Liz, of course, as you're mentioning here, Venus, and sorry, is it Soda, Randon, who lost his vote in this episode because he opened up he found that Beware challenge. He knew he was probably going to lose his vote. How could you not if you've not been following the last few seasons? And he's going to get a clue to it, but we didn't see that resolved in this episode, did we? Like anything with him getting?
He won't get the clue until after he loses. After the
they haven't lost. Correct. You're right. Quite right. Okay, and they haven't lost. So, and then you've got what's his
Hunter.
name? Hunter, who my lookalike over here on the Orange Tribe, and then of course Tevin. This is an interesting group in itself. This is an interesting 6 personalities to put together, and it's been they've been fighting. Like there was the dynamic in this episode with Soda and Venus fighting over the immunity idol. And like who got to hold it first and everything else when Jeff handed it to him. There's a little grabby, some pettiness, some childish behavior, perhaps some dramatic. And then of course you got Liz, who's kind of an interesting character in her own right, who sat out of this challenge, ends up talking over to what's her name? It's one of Amanda's picks, I think. Is it not Liz? No, sorry. Who am I thinking of? The other one who sat out here. Well, maybe that's a good segue. Let's talk about did we lose Jaemeel?
Oh, did we lose Jaemeel? Oh.
Okay. Well, he'll be back, but
okay.
Yeah. Hopefully,
just a hiccup.
Just a hiccup?
He'll be back.
Let's talk about the Green Tribe, the Siga tribe here.
Oh, they're cruising.
They're cruising. They're doing all right.
They're like, they have no drama. They've got like they're in the middle ground, right? Like they've got the wins. Like we have no idea outside of is it Jamie, top right?
Charlie.
Well, I'm off tonight, guys, with my names, but he's my pick too. I should know.
He's your pick too. Yeah, you should know his name.
Right? It's just
okay. That's a little more like he's on your team. He's on Team Foster here.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, he's got with the women, and then he's got with the guys, and Maria, right?
So we saw what was kind of demonstrated throughout this episode was there's kind of like Charlie and Maria are sort of in the middle, and then you got the Maria and Mariah, I guess, on one side, and then you got the guys like Ben and Tim on the other with this group in terms of how like the voting dynamics are working at the moment here. And so it seemed like Charlie and Maria were sort of, I don't know, the swing votes, and they could go either way. And it seemed like Maria maybe preferred to keep the guys over the girls long term. So we'll see how this plays out. Although there was also the Charlie's Angels dynamic shown here, where Charlie, if he does go with Maria, if him and Maria do go with the girls, then it will be Charlie's Angels, and that will be the alliance. But he doesn't really like that because he'd be at the bottom. But if they do it the other way and go with Ben and Tim. I don't know who's on the bottom, or if it just becomes a 2-pair alliance. And I guess maybe that is better actually overall. Any thoughts there?
Sorry, can you repeat that last thing? I was reading the comments. Sorry, can you repeat that last one comment?
Well, it just like I just was working through the logic of, is it better if you're Charlie and Maria to go with the guys or the girls in this particular split if they end up at a tribal council? We'll see what they do next week. There was no indication.
I think it's a week to week thing. Like right now, like if they were to lose next week, I think that they would go with voting at one of the women. And I think that's just more from a strength perspective. At this early stage in the game, like you want to still be able to get second at least in the challenges to at least get the immunity right as best as you can, right? So
Right.
if the guys aren't making any waves, then or they're not, and they're proving themselves, then there's no reason to cut them, kind of thing, right? So this early in the game, if you will, when there's 3 teams available. But if it's not next week, the week after, so I'd say maybe 3, so maybe like just before the merge, like because once again we've seen in the last one, what was the one tribe that it was all 6 of them made the merge? Wasn't or 5 of them made the merge?
I think that even happened in a recent season. Yeah, you're right. Jaemeel, you're back. I'm sorry. It says internet down. He's maybe with us. Let's how maybe he's
I don't know if can you tell? Can't hear him.
he's trying his best.
Okay, we'll hear him soon.
Yeah, he's coming to us from satellite here, the remote location. But yeah, hopefully he'll be able to catch up with us here. Yeah, I think that. But overall, like everything with the Green Tribe in this 2-hour episode was kind of chill. It was kind of whatever. There was a few dynamics, but it was mostly like fine. It focused quite a bit on Ben and him and the music. Him and Ben and Charlie talk about the Taylor Swift stuff. Taylor Swift versus Metallica, and who had
we did not need that in a 2-hour episode. They could have cut that out to save us more time.
They could have made this episode 90 minutes easily. They could have made this episode an hour and it would have been substantially the same. I appreciate getting a little bit more content. So I'm willing to compromise on 90 minutes, but 2 hours, you're taking it too far here, guys. This is like, some sporting events last shorter than this. Foster, where do you stand?
Oh, I think I said it earlier in the podcast, right? Like 2 hours is for the second episode, like it's unneeded. You have it for the first episode, fine. You have it for the merge, fine. You have it for, like even maybe the pre-merge or whatever, right? Like fine. But you don't do it like second episode is not like anything special. It's not like they had 2 challenges, one for reward, one for immunity. Like it just was like it was
all
like
one,
30, yeah. It was like 30 minutes into it, and it was just like what have we accomplished this episode? Nothing. We just heard like some getting to know these people a little bit, right? And I think that they need to present that more in the confessionals rather than the
these montages.
Yeah, and then like
hear about Taylor Swift and Metallica albums. I was bored.
Okay, well. It was interesting that they got up into the 70s, Jaemeel. Could you not even appreciate the quantity?
No, they got into the 107s or whatever, 106 and whatever.
Even more than I thought. Okay, there you go. So but still.
No, still didn't like it.
Okay. Well, it was. I could have done without it myself. I think when you're out there, and they're so bored and they have nothing to do, of course they can. He was like, normally I would never do this, but I'm on Survivor. I'm just talking to this guy, and all we're going to talk about is Taylor Swift songs versus Metallica songs, and we're going to see who can remember more. And I think the Taylor Swift guy. I didn't know Taylor Swift had as many songs as Metallica. That's impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't realize there was that many either, but I guess she has been around for
impressive?
a long time.
Metallica's been around a lot longer. Impressive?
Well, when she allegedly writes like majority of the stuff,
Metallica was around for they're still around.
But the only reason Ben didn't know the albums that were terrible, whereas Charlie is under the impression that Taylor Swift has never made a bad album.
Oh, I don't believe that. I'm not a Swift fan at all. So I'm sorry, folks, but I just don't listen to her music. So it is what it is. But it's
got a couple bangers.
They did not need to have that in the episode.
Dave, don't use the word banger, please. Stop. please.
Does this work? Am I too old for it? Is that why?
Bruce Banger.
The bangers. Okay, guys, let's talk about another banger, the Purple Tribe, who lost tonight. Of course, Jess voted out. They lost this challenge. You got Q, you got Kenzie, you got Banu, and you've got Tiffany. What a crew, even in their right here, having lost Jelinski in the previous episode. There's that whole moment in this one here where Banu screams at Jess, which I had to.
Another piece touchdown.
It's intense. Jess of it all. I know, Jaemeel, you've kind of said your piece, I think, so I don't know how much more you would want to add to the.
I would like people to go back and look how many pieces Kenzie actually held up. Because at times Jessica was holding up 3 pieces at the same time, whereas Jessica would be standing right beside Tiffany, only holding up 1 piece.
Well, yeah, like I think that they would have been better off with Jelinski in this challenge, would they not have? You know, like
unless he would give up.
Jelinski might have given up. He might. Who can do this? It's too hard. It's too big and wide. But I think having a big tall guy versus, they could have voted out Kenzie last time. No, they were
when we're looking at this image, Kenzie's holding up 4 pieces.
She actually is. If you look at this particular image, which I did not pull intentionally, Jaemeel, this is just a random still.
Sure.
She's
pull up a just holding up a ton of pieces picture too.
Okay, let's see. It got a little shaky here in the middle. I think it was mostly Jess. I think they were right to cut her.
No, I think that was the right decision too.
I think you have to accept it, Jaemeel. I'm
they
sorry.
I know she's going to use Jelinski this week, eh?
This one would have Jelinski. He's so tall. He was way taller than anybody else on this cast.
So they could have voted out Kenzie last week,
right? Or they could have voted out Jess last week, and still had him here. Was this fun to watch? This challenge for you, Jaemeel? Did you have fun watching it?
It was a good challenge, mind you. It was a very challenging challenge.
Yeah, like a long obstacle course.
It was interesting to see the team dynamics that were at play with one team versus the other. And then at the same time, the only time this challenge really got annoying is when Liz kept shouting "Nammy, Nammy, Nammy" over and over again.
Oh my goodness! Like that's what I'm saying. Like just obnoxious.
You can do it. You can do it. You can. And she was going hard, but there was also that moment where she was. Sorry, who is it from the Green Tribe that was sitting out for the in this one? Was it Maria or Mariah? Was it Mo? It was Mo, right? Mariah. It's like, hey, I'm Mo. Hey, I'm Liz. I feel like those two in the merge are going to be a thing, and I feel like this is what this episode was setting up. Mark my words. I'm on the record. This whole thing where they had to build the cart, Jaemeel, and then they had to take it through the obstacle course, and poor Venus got her foot run over by her team who did not listen to her, and she was mad by the end of this. Her toe was run over. Now I was like, "Show me the toe. Show me the toe, Venus. I want to see the bruising. I want to see how bad this injury was."
She told them go left, and they weren't going left.
Yeah, but if this is I don't know, I guess I get why she's annoyed by it, but how bad was this? Was she hurt? Is what I also want to get to the bottom of, or was she just more? Ow, that was not nice. No reaction.
So if they lost a challenge, because she couldn't keep standing on her foot because her foot was in pain,
right?
Whose fault would have been? She probably still would have gotten blamed.
Yeah, well, I think when the rest of the group, when you're not jiving with the most of the people, even if you're in the right, it doesn't really matter because it's kind of like the court of public opinion, Jimmy Foster, and there's no fighting it. The tribe, you're on the outs with the tribe.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Did we see this challenge before, Jaemeel?
Yeah, this challenge has happened a couple of times.
With this, with this arch thing.
Yep.
Okay. It had commercial breaks in it. It was really long, but it was mostly what we saw here. Okay, there was a lot of, after it was over. Like Tiffany was very upset. She was starting to yell. Banu was very animated, in particular. He got really upset. There was
If
there was
if it wasn't for Jess, I guess being somewhat more obvious, Bandy should have gone home.
right. I feel like they would have. I feel like they almost decided to vote him out tonight at the end when like he went on his little rant at Tribal, and I don't think that was planned or expected. I feel like Banu really was just they're like, what is with this guy? But the plan, he even turns to Kenzie, and at the end he goes, Kenzie, who should I vote for? And she's like, whoever you want to. You know, she's just that's not the game.
Patronizing him.
Well, yeah, but that's not the game Kenzie's here to play. She's not here to play this crazy, like, sort of emotional game. She's here to play more of a conventional game. And Banu, but well, yeah, but Banu's here to play Banu. You know, he's here to be himself, to throw his emotions in. He was quite something tonight at Tribal. I gotta say, one of the more animated things I can remember in recent memory, where you have these more safe, conservative players who don't want to put all their cards out there at Tribal, and that's kind of what this episode starts off with. Is them talking about how Banu kind of almost told Jelinski he was the one going home, but what does it really matter? Like, again, they're always worried about the shot in the dark, and they're like, we can't let the person know. We can't let the person know who's going, that they're the boot, because then they're going to play the shot in the dark, and then I could go home randomly, and I just can't have that. So I have to play this kind of more vicious deception in the early stages of the game. And I guess I'm left wondering, is that a good thing for the Survivor game overall? Is the shot in the dark a good convention, or it doesn't really matter? Would this treatment still continue within the tribe?
I think it's fine, but I don't understand why they put so much like into it, because like it's only happened twice now, right? So, or once, I don't know, so one of the two. So I don't understand what the threat so much is, as much as like the way they talk about it, right? Like it's not like it's like a 50-50 chance or whatever, right? It's very low odds.
It's a 1 in 6. It's not even a 50.
It's high odds if you're Canadian.
Yeah, it's like
it's high odds if you're Canadian.
Yeah, that's about it. But it's ultimately like you have a pretty low chance. But people don't like to, most people are not gamblers, and I guess like that's the idea, is like, no, we can't allow this person, so that you see them having to try to convince Liz in this, or not Liz, sorry, who got voted out here? Sorry guys, brain fart. Jess. This is why Jess ultimately is given this fake idol by Q, and she plays it, and then it doesn't work because it was fake, and she kind of knew it was fake, but she felt like she had nothing left to lose, and she was kind of presented as this moron. Like they tried to like get it to plant it so she would find it, but she couldn't even find it.